All right, let's break it down. I put this video into slow motion and let's take a look. All right, Dave, your top hand needs to be a little further away from your face. Katrina, right, your paddles at neutral angle, it should be positive. And off we go. Okay, let's take a look. Good. First couple strokes looking good. Seat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looking good. And then Dave's starting to rush a bit, right? You need to have a little bit more patience in the catch, right? The top hand needs to be a little further from your face, and you gotta set the blade and then lean on it, right? Right now you're overreaching with the bottom arm, and then you're pulling it back, right? And Katrina is following you. So is Wei, and I'm not sure who's behind Wei. And yeah, but other than that, it looks okay, looks alright, good catch. I can see the blades getting buried. We're picking up. Not bad. Ray's got nice catch. Right, looking okay. Let's take a look at the lefts. And right, Peter, top hand needs to be a little further away from your face. Right, Andy, patience in the catch, right? Andy, Randy, Elaine. Right, what's happening is that your top hand's coming down and your bottom hand's pulling back, right? So everything pulling back too soon, right? Blade's not buried. The tip of your paddle touches the surface of the water. You start to pull back with your bottom arm and come down with the top hand. Right, with carry, can't really tell from here, but when I'm seating at the the collar seat, your exit tends to flip. Your paddle comes out too far from the side, and you can see from your exit. We'll work on that next day. Debbie looks okay, pretty good. Left side timing is better, moving better together. However, some changes have to be made. Right, Peter with a wooden paddle, nice positive aggressive posture. However, you're just overreaching, right? So see where your paddle, the tip of your paddle touches the water, and then where it splashes, where your bottom hand touches the surface, right? That's at the point where your blade is fully buried and you've already, you're already too far back. So you need to enter about 2 or 3 inches closer to what you're doing right now, but deeper, right? So, right, your paddle touches the water now, it's only buried now, right? It's only buried at the letter O or letter R of Concord Pacific, right? But you're entering at letter C, right? You're entering at the C of Concord Pacific, but you're only buried at letter O, right? So I want you to enter at the letter N of Concord and just get it buried there, right? You don't need to reach so far, right? For Peter, behind Peter, right, your top hand tends to fall into the middle of the boat, right? That's how you exit, right? Don't drop your top hand to the middle of the boat. Try to keep it outside. Nicholas, nice catch actually, nice catch. When you're pulling back with your bottom hand. But that's a nice catch, right? Selena, elbows going past your torso, right? You're breaking your bottom hand. Tammy, right? Yeah, just play around, nice, find your balance, put your weight on the blade, and it will come together. Okay, I'm out. Bye. Okay, here I am again. This was the first video I shot of you guys. I'm gonna do a video review. What I see, so we're on the right side. Let's start from the back, right? So we got Katrina, you can watch her. Okay, let's take a look. I'm just doing a simple piece. Not bad, right? Same thing, it's the top hand is too close to your forehead, right? Which means that the alignment of your body is not, you don't have that rotation, right? So at the catch, right, you got to make sure the inside hip has rotated back, and And in order to stabilize yourself, you have to use your paddle to support, right? And that goes for everybody, right? If you're, if you don't use your paddle to support your body weight, then all your weight's going to be in the boat and in the seat, and it's really hard to get that rotation. All right. So let's take a look at Wendy. So, right, for Wendy, her top shoulder, she's got a nice hinge, right? But you need to set the outside shoulder first, right? Just coming down a little too soon with the top shoulder and the top hand. All right. So observe where the tip of a paddle touches the surface and where it's buried, right? So the paddle touches at the surface here, but it's only buried right at the C, the letter C of Pacific. Right, let's take a look at Don. Don's not bad, right? Don enters at the letter I of Pacific, but he's only buried at the letter A of Pacific. Right, so if he were to just enter at the letter C of Pacific, right, then he doesn't have to reach as far forward, but he gets deeper and he establishes support. And that's what I've been saying all this while, right? The thing with overreaching is a hard one to fix, right? But this is a really good opportunity to take a look at where your paddle enters and where it ends up fully buried. Let's take a look at who's in front of Wendy. Ray, right? So Ray's not bad too. Ray, right, the tip of Ray's paddle enters at around the letter N of Concord, and it gets buried at the letter C, which is pretty good, right? It's pretty good, right? I like that, right? The tip touches at N. And I can tell that his weight's on the blade because he's leaning on it. So that's good to see. Who's in front of Ray? Is it Angela? Okay, let's take a look at Angela. Right, enters at the P of Pacific. Tip touches at letter P. Only buried at letter O of Concord. Right, so if she were to enter at the letter D or even letter R, right, she would be fully buried by then. And when that happens, when the blade's fully buried, you can then lean on the paddle, right? If you overreach and you start to pull back, there's no way you can put your weight on the blade, right? So you don't have that connection. You can't support yourself on the paddle. So this is what overreaching is all about: reaching too far, pulling back with the bottom arm coming down with the top hand, and never being able to support yourself on the paddle. Is it Aki? And then Alicia is behind. Okay, let's take a look at Alicia, right? She enters at beyond C of Pacific, and she's buried at the letter F. Enter at C, boom. Around letter F. So it's not bad, right? I think it would be better if she just enters at the letter I or Pacific, or even at letter F, right? And using the outside shoulder, right, is completing your recovery, and you're reaching for support on the water, right? That's what we're reaching for. Put your weight on the blade and connect with the water. In front of Alicia, I think it's Aki. It's not bad. Aki's okay. She's entering at the letter R of Concord, the smaller word Concord. But she's only buried at letter C, so she's also overreaching, right? I would like her to enter at maybe the letter N of Concord. Right now she's entering past the letter D. So this is what overreaching is, right? They're just reaching too far horizontally across the surface of the water, and then they start to pull back with the bottom arm and come down with the top hand. And when that happens, you're just using upper body to paddle. Your lower body is not doing anything. It's just, your weight's all in the boat. And, you just not as efficient, not as effective. And you start using smaller muscles. You start using upper body muscles, right? The upper body is there just to connect the lower body to the paddle and to the water, right? All you want to try and engage the lower body into your paddling. Let's take a look at further back. Let's take a look at Stu. Stu enters at the letter R of Concord, and it's only fully buried at the letter O of Concord. So same thing, right, Stu? You want to enter maybe at the letter N, right? Maybe 2 or 3 inches closer than what you're normally used to. All right, let's take a look at the left side. So C1, we have Debbie. Let's take a look at Debbie. Right. It's okay. She enters at the letter C of small concord, and she's only buried at the letter past letter D. So same thing, overreaching. Right. Let's take a look at Jaume. Jaume a little bit late in the exit. Right, and the reason why she's late is because she hasn't caught the water up front, so she's chasing the water back, pulling a little too far back, and she's a little stuck at the back. So she's having to she has more distance that she has to recover to get forward. Right, top hand a little too close to the forehead as well. Right, the reason for that is because she's not rotating at the exit. Right, the inside hip is still square at the exit. Same for Elaine. Right, with Elaine, she enters at the letter P of Pacific, and she's only buried at. She gets negative real quick because she's coming down with the top hand and pulling back with the bottom hand. So she's only buried at letter C or letter I of Pacific, and it's already at a negative angle. So she needs to, come in. She needs to rotate the inside hip back, right? Look for support on the paddle. Shift her body weight forward onto the paddle, and get deeper up front. Right, with Carrie. Right, with Carrie, it's the top hand too close to the forehead. So it's just body alignment, right, and the exit. Right, Carrie, when you take the paddle out, your paddle goes out sideways, and I'll work with you the next time I see you. Okay, so. Just kind of watch yourself, guys, right? Watch it where the tip of your paddle touches the surface of the water and where it's fully buried. All right. Look more at the right side, right? Now let's take a look at Andy. All right, Andy enters somewhere around that blue patch and he's only fully buried. Right, the letter C. Right, so a little more patience on the catch. You're just coming down in midair with the top hand and pulling back with the bottom arm. Right, so it's very upper body intensive. Right, you want to try keep the upper body quiet. The active part of your body is the hips. Right. So just a little more patience on the catch. Complete your recovery into the water. And let's take a look at Peter. Right, with Peter, the thing you have to try and improve on is your exit. Right, your top hand comes into the boat. It drops into the boat at the exit. Right, you should try and keep the top hand outside, and and keep the paddle straight, right, 90 degrees during the pull phase. Yeah. So the top hand is just dropping right there at the exit. With Peter with a wooden paddle, let's see where he's entering. All right, he's entering at the letter P of Pacific, and he's fully buried at the letter F. So if he were to enter the letter A, he would be able to establish support. He would support himself. But when you watch, right, he's just pulling the paddle back. Peter looks really strong, actually. However, it's a double-edged sword, right? You can't rely on strength to get the boat moving efficiently. You have to try and actually relax a little bit more. Right, try enter the letter A of Pacific. Right, just pulling back too soon, coming down with the top hand. Right, top hand too close to the forehead. Randy. Right, same thing. Right, enters at the blue at the beginning of that blue patch at the side of the boat, and coming down with the top hand, pulling back with the bottom hand. So just need to find that support, right? All those drills that we do, catch, pull, push drill, we're trying to find our spot. Let's take a look at Tammy, right? Tammy, she just started, and right when she takes the paddle out with the top hand dropping into the middle of the boat, right? So it's a lot more obvious compared to Peter, but we'll talk about the exit, right? Right now she is completely sitting on the bench and pulling the paddle back. And hey, this is to be expected, right? She just started, she's figured out the rhythm of the boat, she's figuring things out and doing really well. The next thing is really to try and put more weight onto the blade, reaching further and being able to put more weight as she extends further up front. All right, so I think we'll talk a little bit more about the exit and the body alignment, the body positioning. All right, so I've got a pretty good idea of how everybody paddles now. A couple common things that all of you need to work on is finding that having patience at the catch, right? Overreaching, right? Everybody is overreaching, reaching too far, and then coming down with the top hand, pulling back with the bottom arm. Right? That's the common thing that everybody should try and improve on, or rather not to do, right? So overreaching is something that we want to try and fix as a team, because that's something that everybody is doing right here. Let's see, right? Andy also really strong, right? Exerting hard, but it's more so knowing when to exert, right? Knowing when to relax, knowing when to exert. That's really the key to paddling, right? We want to try and we want to try and be as efficient as possible, try and keep our upper bodies really quiet, right? Once the paddles are in the water, it's boring, right? The paddle just stays there, right? When the paddle's buried, it's really the lower body that starts to move. And let's see if we can. Right, you can take a look at Dave too. You can take a look at his top shoulder. Right, it's very upper body intensive. Right, same for Stu. Right, very upper body intensive. And right, so you look at Tammy. She enters at the letter C, and she's of Concord, and she is fully buried at the letter N. So she just needs to try and get a little deeper, try to get a little more forward and lean on and find support, support her weight at on the paddle, right? A little more rotation as well. Right now, just sitting square and right, pulling the paddle back. So that's where she needs to try and improve, find her balance, establish support, a little more forward and deeper. Let's take a look at the timing, overall timing. Right, Jaume is a little behind. Elaine's moving with Debbie. Moving with Debbie. Jaume is a little behind. It's funny, and then Carrie is moving with Jaume. So 1 and 3 are moving are moving together. 2 and 4 are moving together. Right, so Carrie, you look at your exit. It's right. Your paddle really comes out to the side of the boat. Right, you want to keep the paddle under your armpit. Right now the paddle is outside of your elbow at the exit. Right. Let's take a look again at Peter.